The post office must have lost my invitation. Did you guys receive yours? I have been checking my mail all week this week, anticipating my cucumber-scented invitation to the annual Butt Bongo Festival that is organized every year by the worldwide leader in woke, ESPN. Not that I expected to be invited or that I would have attended had I been invited. I prefer parties with burgers and beer, not into parties with cucumbers and rainbows along with an endless supply of preparation H. But let me ask you something. How many of you even knew that the ESPYs were last night? I completely forgot about it. Apparently, so did ABC, at least temporarily. The ESPYs were so important to ABC, they delayed the show by half an hour to broadcast some painfully boring press conference with our fearless leader, Johnny B. Biden. Just think about that for a second. This annual ratings disaster is so boring. This annual disaster is guaranteed to tank ABC's primetime ratings every year. So they delayed the show to broadcast a man that is guaranteed to put your audience to sleep. Over the past couple of years, the ESPYs have set record low ratings. Would not surprise me if they broke their own records again this year because their lead-in was absolutely atrocious. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. One of my channel members hit me up on Discord last night asking me if I was watching the ESPYs. Now, obviously, my answer was no. I don't watch real award shows. I don't watch the Grammys or the VMAs, so why in the hell would I waste my time watching a group of people trying to convince me that the WNBA is actually professional basketball? I was busy last night playing Game of Empires on my phone. My wife, she had control of the TV all night. She was all excited about the season premiere of Real Housewives of Des Moines or Real Housewives of Buffalo. Who cares? They're all the same. Every season features women who have lost the ability to make facial expressions. These doctors are absolutely brilliant. They have come up with a way to stop faces from moving. Maybe one day they will figure out a way to stop mouths from moving. But either way, my wife, she loves the Housewives, so that's what we were watching last night. I didn't have to watch the ESPYs, though, to know that it would be a disaster. I mean, this is the same show that gave Caitlyn Jenner the Courage Award because Katie decided to stop being called Bruce. This is the same group that gave Megan Rapinoe the Courage Award. Supposedly, ESPN honored the Megster for her courage to fight for what they called equal pay. Rest of us called it woke welfare. ESPN considered Meg courageous because she fought for money that she hadn't earned. I think they also honored the Megster for her unique ability to inspire prepubescent boys. But this year was no different than past years. Caitlin Clark, she was nominated for Female Athlete of the Year, an award that she should have won with ease. Any respectable organization would recognize Caitlin Clark and honor her for achieving the impossible. Well, Casey, what do you mean? What did she achieve? She's not even a real champion! Caitlin Clark is the first female athlete to take the WNBA dump and turn it into the polished turd. In the next couple of years, Caitlin Clark might turn the WNBA into a league that people actually respect. But ESPN, they could not give that honor to Caitlin Clark. No! Instead, they gave the award to AJ Wilson. Well, KC, who in the hell is AJ Wilson? Yeah, no shit. AJ is one of the many anonymous faces playing basketball for the Las Vegas Anonymous Faces. ESPN honored AJ with the award for Female Athlete of the Year because she won back-to-back WNBA titles. Now, that's like naming Eric the Bowler Male Athlete of the Year because he dominates the hobby of bowling. If no one is watching, does it really matter? Now, in all fairness, ESPN did honor Caitlin Clark with 2 ESPYs last night. She received the award for Best Record-Breaking Performance. I'm assuming she was given that award for the ratings records that she is setting in the WNBA. And Katie Rue was also named Best College Athlete. But the real controversy it had nothing to do with awards. The real controversy, it involves Serena Williams and her attack on toxic masculinity. But before we get to that, let's go and get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at the Embroidery Spot. As I was researching the ESPYs this morning, I noticed all these stars walking the red carpet, and some of them were wearing some of the strangest outfits I've ever seen. Now look, I'm all about being different, but I don't want to be that different. I've never been into following the crowd. I've never been into trends. I prefer to set my own trends, and one of the best way to do that is purchasing customized hats and clothing from the Embroidery Spot. For those of you who appreciate the police instead of wanting to defund them, you can show your appreciation with the collection of service line hats. And if you want to personalize your support, the Embroidery Spot, they offer customized hats. You can select a hat with the Air Force logo and have your name stitched underneath. Of all the unique hats offered at the Embroidery Spot, this one right here, this is my personal favorite, hiding from Biden. In the year of our Lord 2024, that's really what we're all doing. We're hiding from Biden and hoping we no longer need to hide by November. The Embroidery Spot, they designed the hat I'm wearing right now, the ones behind me, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, if they were one of the 4 approved vendors here on YouTube, I would have the Embroidery Spot design my merch. I am highly impressed with this company. The Embroidery Spot is proud to be military owned and operated with over 2,000 satisfied customers rating them 4.9 out of 5 stars. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10. Receive 10% off your first purchase with the Embroidery Spot. All right, midway through the show last night, Serena Williams, she was joined on stage by her sister Pluto and some other woman who appeared to be a veteran player in the WNBA. And the reason I say that, she was about 5 feet tall. Outside of Bob Griner, most WNBA players are between 60 and 72 inches tall, which is probably why the standards are lowered and missed layups are considered to be dunks. But the reason Pluto and I think her name was La Quinta or something. The reason they joined Serena Williams on stage, they were trying to convince the audience of dozens to give women's sports a chance. These women are amazing! Elite athleticism, airball dunks, the inability to catch wide open passes, the free points given to Angel Reese to keep her double-double streak alive. This league is fascinating! Unfortunately for the WNBA, the pitch I just presented, it was a hell of a lot more convincing than the pitch given by this trio. As you're about to see, it is abundantly clear that Venus and Serena Williams and Quinta, they do not watch women's sports. They could not come up with a single reason for you to give the WNBA a chance. But they damn sure came up with a reason for you not to watch. Instead of convincing people to watch the WNBA, Serena Williams told millions of people not to bother. Watch for yourself.
Go ahead and enjoy women's sports like you would any other sports because they are sports.
Yes. Except you, Harrison Butker. We don't need you.
At all. Like ever.
Really? Really? Let me tell you the problem with this. Number one, if you're making an attempt to embarrass someone, at least make it funny. That way it comes across a little more lighthearted instead of reeking of bitterness. And number two, think about what Serena Williams just did. She's trying to convince people to give women's sports a chance. But she tells Harrison Butker, we don't want you. Meaning, she just told millions of people, we don't want you. Whether you agreed with what Harrison Butker said about women and their role in relationships and marriages, it doesn't matter. There were a lot of people that related to what he said. There were also a lot of women who agreed with it. When you're telling Harrison Butker, we don't need you to watch women's sports, you're also telling the millions of people that agreed with him, we don't need you either. When the reality is, you desperately need them. The NFL, NFL has an established audience. NBA, same thing. NBA ratings have declined significantly over the last 4 or 5 years, and they're still the most watched program on cable 2 or 3 nights every week. Even Major League Baseball has a core audience. The WNBA does not. This league is one Caitlin Clark injury away from returning to irrelevance. Now, I hope that never happens, but injuries happen all the time in basketball, even pretend basketball. If Caitlin Clark is injured or if she fails to make the playoffs, the WNBA, they return to not being able to draw flies to a fresh turd. Well, KC, that's simply not true. They still have Angel Reese. Angel Reese is a huge star. Where is Angel Reese a huge star? She's not a huge draw on television. If she was, the WNBA would be featuring her more on national TV. And don't even get me started with these other leagues that share a commonality with the WNBA, never making a peso in profit. How many of you are watching the NWSL? How many of you even knew the NWSL was in the middle of their season? Open your news feed. Take a shot every time you see an article about the NWSL. Your alcoholism will be cured. What about the LPGA? Can you name a golfer on the LPGA tour? How many of you guys are watching tennis? When you don't have an audience, the last thing you want to do is tell millions of people that you don't need them. It's going to be interesting to see the ratings for the ESPYs. That is, if they're released. We have been covering ratings for years here on the channel, highlighting the bad ratings in the NBA, the atrocious ratings in the WNBA. But all of a sudden, the daily ratings report, it just disappeared. I wonder why. If ratings for the ESPYs are released, we will cover them here on the channel. Since they were broadcast on ABC, I don't know if they're going to set record lows, but I don't expect them to be good. But give me your thoughts on this. Another year, another disastrous ESPYs. Serena Williams tells Harrison Butker and his supporters not to watch women's sports. Doesn't sound like a good marketing strategy to me, but what the hell do I know? Did any of you guys watch the ESPYs last night? Did you even know it was on? You know, the ESPYs used to be a big deal, but now they just seem to be ignored. But let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.